girls with like bigger bellies that almost look like they're pregnant. That can be certainly like a physical turn on.
Why is a fantasy that they've eaten someone?
Yeah, like eating someone or eating you.
Welcome back to Other People's Lives. I'm Joe Santagato.
I'm Greg Dybec.
For anyone out there that would like to be a guest on our show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email is oplpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us your story and we'll get back to you.
Yes, and please reach out. We are always collecting new stories. Just shoot us an email. This is the last episode of this season, so we will disappear just for a little while. It's like 5-6 weeks while we kind of re-up on episodes, have a bunch of conversations, and then we'll be back with a brand new season. So with that said, reach out because then you have a chance of being an episode for next season. But thank you for another season. I think it was season 17, which is crazy to think about. We started the show in 2017. It's just nuts. But we're excited for today's episode. Despite all these seasons, this is a conversation that we've never had. Our guest reached out to us with an email, and the subject line said, "The idea of being eaten alive turns me on." That's a fantastic subject line. And this is a Vore fetish, which I've heard about, but like honestly don't really know anything about. I remember Joe saw it pop up in his calendar and he had no clue. So we're going in kind of blind to this. So super interested to learn more about it. We've got the guest on the line, and thanks for being on today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. It's a real honor.
Awesome. So I guess, can you define what Vore is?
Yeah. So basically, Vore is like the fetish about wanting to be eaten, wanting to eat somebody else, or wanting to like watch somebody be eaten.
And when you say be eaten, do you like eaten by what?
So most of the time it's like humans. Sometimes it could be like a furry kind of character or like a monster kind of character. And then sometimes it's even like animals or plants.
When you say eaten, is this related to cannibalism at all, or is it a different type of thing?
No, so that's like a big thing that like the community likes to clarify, is that it's not like cannibalism. Like, well, I mean, I guess it is by like definition because you're like eating another person, but it's not like, you know, you grill somebody up or like you're like tearing off their flesh like a zombie or anything like that. It is like eaten alive whole, kind of like how a snake would like eat its prey whole.
Oh, okay. So no
Yes.
like bloody, gory type of thing.
Usually no. There is like a subset of the genre that likes that, and it is called like gore. But for most people, no.
I
Okay.
have heard of this in that sense where like being eaten as in being swallowed almost. So like you said, a snake, or I think I've heard people talk about like a whale, if a giant whale was coming and you were swimming or something, it's not like it would be chewing you up and ripping you to pieces. It would be like just engulf you in its mouth and swallow you. Is that sort of the image?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much that. Yeah.
So how did you come to realize that you were into this sort of thing? I feel like it's a very like specific type of fetish. So how did you kind of come across it?
So that's the weird thing. It's like I've always kind of been into it. Like I remember even being like really young. There was like I think an episode of the Power Rangers where like the Power Rangers got eaten by some monster or something like that. I remember like even as a young kid looking at that and being like, oh, like that is a weird feeling that I've never had before. You know what I mean? And then like, as I like got older and like kind of became a teenager, I would honestly, I would like come up with like my own like head world about people being eaten even before I even knew what like Vore was. I would just kind of like think about that like in my head as a teenager.
Whoa. Can you describe that feeling that's related to that? Maybe like the first time you saw on Power Rangers or started creating these scenarios in your head. Like, what is that feeling inside of you with the thought of being eaten?
It's like, it's a combination of different things. Like, obviously it's like a fetish, so it's arousal is one of them. But then the other thing is kind of like it's almost like a dom sub sort of relationship where like the predator is the dom and the prey is the sub. So like the dom or the pred has like full control and like full like power over the prey, and like they basically have like this complete like dominance. So the prey is like both like aroused and like scared at the same time, and I think it's that combination that like is really kind of, I don't know, arousing.
So how do you even really indulge in something like this?
So there's like a bunch of stuff online. It's actually like really crazy because like they've got literally every form of media possible. There's like a Vore for it. So like there's illustrations, there's like stories, there's comics, there's like IRL stuff, animations, games, like you name it. Like there's Vore for it.
Whoa. What's, when you're fantasizing about this, what is the ultimate outcome? Like, is it, if you get eaten, are you dead? Or are you like alive inside of the thing or person?
It could be both. So yeah, so the community definitely like, they have different tastes. So, no pun intended. But yeah, so like sometimes people like the idea of like you get eaten and like it's really like intimate. So like I'm one of those people that it's like not only is getting eaten like this like kind of like this scary like, you know, law of the jungle, like the big, you know, the strong eat the weak, but it's also like this intimate sort of thing, like going like looking into somebody's mouth or like seeing like the maw shot is what it's called, is like kind of like a real like intimate thing where it's like, oh, like it's really inviting to kind of like go inside there and be inside there. And then once you're in their stomach, then it's like comforting because it's almost like a womb sort of situation. It's like, wow, like I cannot be any more closer to this person. And I have made them feel like so satisfied by me being eaten. So like some people just like to stay in there and like be part of that. And then some people are like, no, I want to be digested. Like I want to be part of you forever sort of thing.
Wow. Okay.
What was the shot that you said?
It's called the maw shot. It's like basically if you like if you like opened your mouth and like let somebody like look inside of your mouth and like you kind of like took a snapshot of that.
I think I'm looking at an image of it right now. Like if you were sliding down their throat, looking out and still seeing a glimpse of like what's outside of their body.
That too. Yeah. That's like the reverse maw shot. So that's like you sliding down on the inside. And then if you flip that around, that's like the classic maw shot.
Okay. So that's like the money shot in the Vore world. Like that is the one.
That or like they'll do like the character like in their stomach, and they'll sometimes do like a cutaway so that you can see the character in the stomach. That's like a big image around the community too.
Is there any sort of like physical aspect to this, or is it all kind of like videos, illustrations, and like imagination?
So like you mean like outside of like a screen, like if you were actually like with somebody else?
Yeah.
I haven't really like met anybody in the community. I'm sure there like is something to that. So I have seen. So okay. So I had this one like best friend, right? And over time we kind of became like friends with benefits, and then we like broke up because it got really toxic. But in between there, I told her about this fetish, and she was like kind of weirded out about it. But then she was like, "What if I just like kind of opened my mouth and like you look inside while we were like, you know, being together?" And I was like, "Oh," and like that was like pretty good. That was pretty hot for me. So
she did it?
Yeah. So she would just do it.
So you were just staring inside of her mouth, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
What was that like for you, though? Because you're right, that is kind of the closest thing. Or I guess it was something that you were consuming digitally for so long that's a turn on for you. So what was that like experiencing it in real life?
It's like really weird. It's like really surreal because you kind of like imagine like other scenarios as you're like looking into their mouth. So I don't know.
Meaning what?
So like, yeah, like just imagining like being eaten and like, you know, being like going down their throat and like going into their stomach is kind of like, yeah.
Okay.
That was what I was thinking. Like if I was into this, and when you mentioned the, that scene or whatever of like looking down someone's throat, I'm like, I imagine that's probably the physical part is when you're with someone, like being able to see down their throat would, or like, as far as you can, but that would kind of be the physical sort of equivalent, I guess.
Right. That, or like, I guess a lot of people in the community, now that I'm thinking about it, like girls with like bigger bellies that almost look like they're pregnant. That can be certainly like a physical turn on.
Why is a fantasy that they've eaten someone?
Yeah, like eating someone or eating you or like something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Huh. What about like actually like trying to fit body parts in their mouth? Like here's my finger or hand, or I mean, I guess technically like a blowjob in the Vore world, you're probably just imagining them sucking your whole body up.
Right. Honestly, I have seen some Vore illustrations of something similar to that. But yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like definitely like having them suck on your finger or something like that is, yeah, that sounds like a pretty big turn on.
Huh. But is it frustrating because it is so hard for this to translate in real life?
No, not really. Like I think like me and a lot of the community is very content with this being only like a fantasy thing.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't think a lot of people are like too like upset, because they definitely, I mean, people in like real life wouldn't want to actually be like eaten by something. Like it definitely is like a fantasy sort of thing. So we're just fine with it like that.
Okay.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
So it's just like essentially indulging in a very specific type of porn, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it is very like very much just like if somebody had a BDSM fetish or like a foot fetish or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's not really something that, I don't know, like.
Well, so much of the fantasy is playing out in your mind as well, which is interesting. Like just really creating your own world. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's, I guess, good to hear, because that's what I was wondering as I'm hearing this. Like, are everyone into Vore like pissed off all the time, like punching the wall? Like, I just want someone to eat me and they can't. But I guess you're okay with the reality of the situation, I guess, and the limitations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're definitely okay with it, especially because like there's so many like different like forms of media that we can go to for this. So it's not really, a big deal.
Wow. Is for you, it seemed like it was a very good and, as you said, hot experience when your friend let you stare into her mouth. So like going forward in your life, for any relationships or partners, is this something that you would bring up and try to get that, fulfilled?
Yeah, I think so. If like, it's comfortable enough and I trust them enough, then I don't think it's like too weird of a request. You know what I mean? Like it is kind of weird, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's definitely like grosser things that people like,
Yeah. Trust us. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely, seen some.
Do you think all dentists just have a Vore fetish and they're just like staring into your mouth?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, if
always
they
wonder
are.
why. Yeah, right?
If they are, then they're fucking whistling on the way to work.
I'm guessing no, because don't they say dentists are like the unhappiest in their profession? So
Is that true?
I think so.
Well, hearsay. Is this something that, just like during your sexual encounters, is it always kind of on your mind, or is it something that you don't really think about because, like we've been talking about, there's not a bunch of physical sort of like crossover there. So, but is it something that's kind of always in your head because it's something that arouses you?
For me, like, yeah, kind of like it's like, it comes and goes depending on like my mood. Like sometimes I'll be into like, this sort of fetish or that sort of fetish, but usually like I can almost like never get like as aroused as possible if it isn't like a Vore thing. Like sometimes I'll even like be seeing like a like a girl on girl or something like that, and kind of like at the end of it, sort of imagine that like the one girl at the end kind of eats the other girl. Because that's a big part too that I think a lot of people kind of don't get, is that like sex is definitely a big part of this fetish as well. So it isn't just like the prey or the pred comes over and just kind of like grabs the prey and eats them. Like usually there's a lot of like sexual tension that happens in between. So whether that be they actually like if it's like what's called a same size, which basically means they're like the same size. So it's not like this giant creature like eating the smaller one. So in the case of same size, sometimes they even do like have sex before the person gets eaten.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
You know who's big in the Vore community, I just realized?
Oh.
Spiders. Don't like female spiders, like, don't they mate and then like eat the male? Isn't that a thing with like tarantulas or something?
Is that real?
Yeah, or different bugs or animals definitely do that. And I think it's usually the female eats the male.
That is usually how it works in the Vore community. I think they definitely have this sort of like law of the jungle thing about them, where it's like, you know, the strong eat the weak. So, or like, you know, sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, like, you know, we're spiders, so the female spider just eats the male spider. It's just the way that it goes, but it's still like really like an arousing thing to be like, oh man, this thing's gonna eat me after this. Like,
wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like the danger element too, or that's for you to like consume, like you were just talking about, like porn, like girl on girl, and then having that fantasy. Is there like Vore porn that's animated? Is that a thing?
oh yeah.
Okay. So do you find yourself having to go there more than like real life porn?
Yeah, sometimes for sure. Yeah. And it's like some of it is like really, really bad, like Microsoft Paint level bad, but then some of it is like unbelievable, like this like absolute like Pixar work of art that like is just for, and it's like, whoa, like the community is very creative.
Yeah, no, I looked at some images and like the artwork is insane for some of this.
Right?
Is this something that like also like your close friends know about you, or do you kind of like keep it, I guess, a secret?
So not until recently. So before this, the only people that I ever told was like therapists and the one friend that I had mentioned. But my other friend is a big fan of the show, and she's the one that kind of like showed me, like turned me onto the show. And so I told her, because I was like, hey, listen, I want to tell you something, but it's going to be weird. And then I was like, I get to be on the OPL show. And she's like, oh my God, no way. It's like, yeah, but it's about this really weird fetish that I've never told anybody.
That's cool.
So she knows now. And she also told me to tell you that she loves you, Joe.
Oh, thank you so much. She made the connection, so that's perfect.
All right, to do the show by herself, Joe. No, I get it. That's funny though. Well, shout out to her for showing you the show, and now you're here.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Also, apparently there's a lot of like content out there on TikTok, like Vore Talk. Are you tapped into that at all?
No, what? No, I haven't heard about this.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna send you this link. me and Joe just like linked each other. There's a girl. Do you want to describe it, Joe?
I mean, I haven't pulled it up because if I open it on my laptop, then it'll mess up the recording.
Oh, it looks like a lot of like women on here, and she's talking into the camera, talking about like eating you, and then I guess she's pretending like as if she ate you, and then the camera's on her stomach, and she's sort of like patting her stomach like as if she's full. I think there was one too where just, I guess, like opening your mouth for the camera makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think you got a lot more content to discover.
Okay. Yeah. No. A lot of times the like IRL stuff is very much a POV of like you're the prey and then they're the pred. So yeah, a lot of it is like basically sticking a camera in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you did a really good job explaining this. I was almost worried because I thought it would be kind of hard to wrap our heads around, but I get it. I mean, I don't get the feeling, but like I can understand. And it seems like you're able to, satisfy that for the most part, despite it being, hard in real life to directly translate. So that's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Do you plan on, I kind of asked this before, but I guess just with like friends, family, and going forward, do you plan on keeping this a secret? Do you plan on, kind of talking more openly about it?
Yeah, I think I'll keep it to myself for the most part. Like I said, if I ever find a partner that's like, it seems cool and I can trust, then I'd be open to telling them about it. But yeah, I'm not about to like tell my mom about this.
I guess
That's
that makes sense too. I mean, it's not like, I'm telling mom, guess what porn I watched today, mom?
Yeah. Okay. That's definitely fair. In terms of like the community too, have you ever reached out to people who also have this fetish? Like, is that something that you'd explore as well?
Not personally. I've never been big on like internet, like relationships or connecting over the internet from like with like strangers. So I haven't really explored that too much, but I know for a fact that there's like a huge community presence and they definitely talk with each other and like do role play scenarios like through text and like stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm looking too, like even just Googling it, it seems like this community is super strong. There's a bunch of people too, like asking in Reddit and things like, or saying, I wish there was a Vore dating app. That would be so perfect. Which, Joe, we should get started on that after this episode. 'Cause it looks like there's a void in the market.
Yeah.
But yeah, super interesting.
So I don't know about a dating app, but there is a Vore day.
A Vore day?
Yeah. So it is like the Vore holiday. It is August 8th because 8/8, and people just kind of.
That's amazing. And
right?
people, what is it? How do you celebrate it?
For the holiday. So I don't know. I guess people just like hit up all the websites. I know some like artists will post like special like illustrations for Vore Day, and they're like Happy Vore Day and like stuff like that, and just the community just gets together.
Okay,
Wow.
so it's just like a celebration of just Vore. That's so interesting because it just makes you realize, that feeling you described before of, watching Power Rangers or seeing something eat something for the first time. And for you, it's this awakening sort of, and then it just makes you realize how many people are having that same feeling. And it's just always mind blowing. You mentioned Power Rangers, like we probably watched the same exact thing at some point. And, for some people, it's just not even a thought. For others, it just sparks something inside them that's like, whoa, like I'm aroused or I'm super into this or I need to explore this more. It's just fascinating.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're just like everybody else. We all, just have weird things that we like and we can't really control the fact that we like them, but we just do. So.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing that came to mind when we started speaking about this was like in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, where like people were getting thrown off the ship into the desert, into that like pit that just like eats people.
Yes, the Sarlacc pit.
Yes, the Sarlacc pit. That's the one. I was like, this is probably exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, there's lots of imagery that definitely kind of mirrors that for sure. So if it's in like media and it's like something eating something, there's like some kind of Vore of it. I know that there's, what is it, Men in Black 2? I think there's a scene where like the alien.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that's a big one for sure.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I think that's the first one actually, where he eats
Is it
Tommy
the
Lee
first
Jones.
one?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, the one with the bug. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
there's like another one. Yeah, where like the alien turns into like this like Playboy
Edgar
model lady.
or something.
Yeah.
I love that scene. That's a great performance. Great physical performance
Great
by that
performance.
guy. Wow. Okay. That's nuts. Super interesting. My last question I know it's different, but if there's like a zombie apocalypse, like if The Last of Us was real, would you be okay if it just ended up with you getting eaten by a zombie?
Depends on how attractive that zombie is.
That's a great answer. Okay.
It would have to be a hot zombie.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today about this. Definitely eye-opening, a part of sexuality and the internet that we did not know about. So it's always good to hear about that and have your mind sort of expanded. So thank you for coming on and talking to us.
Of course. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Have a good one, and good luck with everything.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online counseling and therapy. BetterHelp is great because you can start talking to a therapist in just under 48 hours, so it makes it very quick. The onboarding is very quick. I think therapy is amazing. I've been in therapy for over 2 years, and I think that everyone should be, even if you're not going through anything traumatic or anything like that. It's like the gym for your brain. It's very nice to be able to talk to someone, and BetterHelp is a great way to get started. Like I said, they'll help you connect with a therapist very quickly to make it very easy to switch from therapist to therapist to find the right fit for you. And not only that, but is extremely affordable as well, way more affordable than in-person therapy, which is very expensive. And on top of it being already affordable, you can get an extra 10% off of your first month if you go to betterhelp.com/OPL today. Again, that is betterhelp.com/OPL, and you will get 10% off of your first month. It's spelled BETTERHELP.com/OPL. So enjoy BetterHelp, and good luck.
Manscaped is here with a deal you can't pass over this Easter season. They've got the tools to give you the beautifully decorated eggs of your dreams. Just because it's Easter doesn't mean it's okay to hide those bad boys behind all that tall grass. So make sure your downstairs lawn is mowed. Get yourself feeling as sweet as candy by going to manscaped.com and getting 20% off plus free shipping with code OPL. I use Manscaped. Joe uses Manscaped. We love it. Let's, just know things are going okay down there thanks to Manscaped. And it's time to put all your eggs into the perfect basket with the Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped. And inside the Ball Care Bunny Basket, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, highly recommend, Weed Whacker 2.0, ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag. They have all these items. You can get them bundled. You can get them on their own. They're all amazing, and you won't get any, cuts or, if you got some loose skin, it's not going to grab it, if you know what I mean. If you guys have used other razors other than Manscaped, you definitely know what I mean, because I've had many cuts and bloody balls. I don't know how else to say that. But seriously, guys, save 20% off and get free shipping with code OPL at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code OPL at manscaped.com. Hop into the best deal of the year with Manscaped.
All right. Some people like to get eaten. I get it. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you, because Greg sent me an image in the middle of that episode of the view of being in the back of someone's throat and looking out of their mouth, with the tongue and the teeth and everything. I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. I for some reason, I don't hate it. And I remember a scene from, I think it was Osmosis Jones. Of a scene like that, and it's kind of cool. I don't know.
Also,
it's not it doesn't get me horny, but it is cool. It's
cool. But
it
mentioning Men in Black, and wait, did Pinocchio get swallowed by a whale or something? Yeah, and there is something there's something underlying, something
cool
powerful
there
about these scenes of just chilling in a stomach or getting swallowed. It's
growing on me for sure. I could be swayed. I definitely could be swayed.
Yeah.
We always appreciate people coming on and talking about these fetishes so candidly, because there's a lot of people out there that maybe are into certain things that are way less niche and unusual, and they just will never explore that because they think it's too weird or whatever. But it's always cool when someone comes on and they're like, yeah, just into this thing. It's fucking fire, and that's it. You know, I want to be eaten. Like, I get it. Also, the zombie question, it's psychotic.
Oh, I thought you were going to compliment me, but okay.
It's like, zombie apocalypse, is that like your ultimate dream?
If you knew you could go out that way, I think you would take it. There's probably some hot zombies out there.
Got to be at least one. But yeah, so for anyone out there that would like to be a guest on our show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email is oplpodcast@gmail.com. Like Greg said earlier, we're going to be going on a little bit of a break, but this is the time to send in your stories to our email. This time more than any time, this break in between, this is when we want to get the most emails as possible. So send us your story. It's oplpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Yeah. Thanks for another season. Everything Joe said, listen to him, send it to us, and we'll see you guys in, I want to say it's 6 weeks. We should probably know this, but don't worry, we are absolutely coming back. Also, for the end of the season, we'll do another donation of some sort, a big one with the Patreon. So you could go to patreon.com/OPL show, and we'll take that money and we'll kind of find a charity or someone to donate it to. But you could check that out there. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram @OPL Podcast, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
See ya.